The way that I teach the class right now is primarily lecture-based during the lecture time, and as I said, learner-centered activities during the lab. I do have some activities going on during the class time that are like little games, participation point games that are landform identification or cloud identification or practice review for the test. And those things have worked really well for me. So I want to take that, the engagement while I'm lecturing and while we're learning, and I want to increase it and take it to a new level so that it becomes a more integral part of the lecture time. It's easy to do during lab time. You know, it's difficult to do it during lecture, I should say, when it's without repeating what you're doing during the lab. So I'm looking for ways to increase the participation without feeling like we're doing more lab exercises.
In doing my TPI, it very clearly reflects my teaching philosophy and my educational approach and all of those things. I'm not real high on nurturing, though I care deeply about the students. What they don't get a lot of is, in my mind, is academic challenge. So I really push them to do their best work, not their easiest or quickest or fastest work, but their very best work. So having said that, I really want them to be able to take what they know and make a better world. So the personal transformation to me in good courses is inevitable. But the social transformation, I think people have to work harder at. And so I always try to infuse that, and I really want to hang on to that.
The concept of the flipped engineering classroom is also part of this, where what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the basic information, we're going to post it online, we'll have little videos and problems that have solutions to them, and have the students go in there and take maybe a 5 or 10 point quiz to say, okay, I get the fundamentals. Okay, I've read the material, I've seen your example problems, I get the fundamentals. And when they come to class, then it's time for us to develop. The exciting part is the design challenges that we can come up with are limitless. I mean, every area of every industry of everything has an issue somewhere that we can deal with. And so that's the exciting part. That's what we're hoping this Learn Lab does for us, is allows us to push the fundamentals out of the classroom and use that collaborative time to show them how that all pertains to the design and development of products.
Looking forward, the thing I'm hoping to most improve is I have stayed away from integrating technology besides what's available on the desktop at all costs. And some of that's my own personal hesitance, some of it's the time, and the lack of knowledge of I would love to do more, and I just might not be up to steam with the current trends. So that's one thing I'm really excited to be able to enhance with this opportunity.
My plan is that because I'm going to use the Learn Lab to help them begin developing strategies as teachers to actually utilize technology in their instruction, that I will enhance that with the Learn Lab option.
I can see my students collaborating more in the Learn Lab, working with the materials that are there, the equipment, the flat screen, the tables that are set up will give them access to either a netbook or a laptop. And so looking at that environment and looking at how the whiteboards are set up, it's an awesome looking lab, and I just can't wait to get in.
So I would like a more uniform output in terms of, quality of work. If there's a poorly performing team in the class, I can't seem to, I can't turn that into a B team. It seems like, it'll be a C team. They won't be able to work individually their whole career. They're going to have to work in teams. If I let the students do a paper all by themselves, they might do a pretty good job, and actually less so in a team. So, and that's speaking more of the poorly performing team. So I need to do something better in terms of teamwork.
There will be some lecture, but I want it to be less of me being the talking head and them just sitting there, to me, passively writing notes and not really being actively involved. So if I can do a combination of some lecture and then some more of they need to search out some information to enhance what I'm talking about, rather than totally looking at it from that perspective. And if I can do that, then eventually one of the things that I would like to do is get rid of the textbook and let them be able to find information that's current rather than from a textbook that might have been written 3-4 years ago. And I think that, again, will make it more relevant to them, and they might see the importance of knowing the information.
Well, the first time we ran this course, it was a version of just intermediate algebra, which we piloted last fall. The students I thought, really took away the value of making mistakes and learning from their mistakes. That was something that really came out of that course. That's something I'm hoping is coming out of this semester's pilot. It's also, you know, the replacement for intermediate algebra. But I'm hoping that stays and strengthens and maybe enhances in an environment like the Learn Lab.
Each one interviews their own person. They write their report separately. Then I have them take the reports by major. We put them together and they do a presentation, a group presentation. And they've done very, very well with that part. So I like that as kind of the centerpiece, but I'm trying to draw, I think, the connections too closely to what Victor's doing. I think we need to have bigger conceptual connections, these reflective bridges, and maybe not worry so much of having like the directions assignment line up with the formulas and that kind of thing. I think we're forcing it too much.
I think if I can use the Learn Lab to have the students come to the course maybe a little prepared ahead of time, as opposed to just reading through my notes before they come and, you know, taking a quiz before the course, before the particular class begins. So I'm hoping that if I can work it correctly, that they'll be able to do some of the work ahead of time, and then we can discuss the organism and maybe a little bit different, looking at the organism maybe a little bit differently, or maybe in a little more depth, especially if there has been some changes in the organisms itself and themselves.
Well, I find in my classes the more group work that I can do, where students work together, the less they are just listening to me talk. There's more learning, there's more engagement from the student. Having it been this being a fairly new class, this is something that I was kind of planning to enhance anyway. And what I'm hoping is through this Learn Lab experience that I can not only do that in my face-to-face class, but also extend that to the online environment as well.
have to find a way to make sure that the students still get all of the technical content. That just can't be sacrificed at all. That said, what I want to introduce is more application of the content through projects, either individual or group projects. And the way that I want to do that is I want to flip the lecture portion of both of those classes. And I want to flip that content so that the students have better access to the equations, the strategies for conducting sort of the scientific elements of the subject. And then when they come to class, we deal with only application of what they have learned.
I'm looking forward to hopefully using, this Learn Lab so I can ensure that the students gain a deeper understanding of clinical microbiology, and I guess ultimately in all of the courses in our curriculum. If it works for this particular course, maybe we can adapt it for the other courses as well. So we'll see.